Alright, today is October the 14th, 2023. It is 9:17 in the nighttime. I'm here in my parents' house where I'm living now for the meantime until I get my own place, which shouldn't be nearly as long as the fucking 6 or 7 years that I was with that piece of shit. I'm not going to name because I'm moving past that already. Um, Anyways, I am not making this video right now to bash anything in my past life, or I'm not trying to vlog right now. What the heck? Go away. It's gotta pop up there. I'm just wanting to make this video to talk about this epidemic, I'm gonna call it, going on right now between influencers on YouTube or just on social media in general. um, in the realm of the fight against transgenderism, because I am I'm pretty sad right now about all of what's going on. I've seen a few more quarrels happening between people. um I don't want to get into the details of who and what, unless I'm bringing it, unless I bring it up and it's, I have to explain it's related to a certain thing that I'm talking about right now. I don't want to talk about just the drama in general because really I don't want to add to it. I just want to talk about it to try and get to a point where there's more understanding going on, because the thing is, um uh sorry, one second. um how can I say this? I'm a little buzzed right now, so excuse me if I stumble over my words or I start losing track of my thoughts. I'm about 6 or 7 shots um in my dad's stash. um I was actually gonna go to my sister's house because all of my siblings are there right now. Well, not all of them. My brother's not there; he's in California. But my sisters are there, and just pretty much having a good time tonight. Um, and they were gonna take me. They were gonna pick me up and take me, but I was gonna take my bike, or my dad's bike that he's lending me, and I tried to fix it, but apparently it needs a new tube, so I gotta go buy that. And so I just been here, pretty much singing and relieving some stress that I've had pent up for a while. And I wanted to make this video because I really want to talk about this, but I don't want to get upset or bash anybody in particular, because I really don't have any dog in anyone's fight going on here. There's a lot of different things happening. I'll start off with Buck Angel, or Buck, Susan, I should say. Um and the conversation that she had with Brittany, um where people in the chat were basically just bashing Buck. Understandably so, for good reason. I mean, there's a lot of questionable things that Buck has done to warrant scrutiny from people, and I don't disagree with that particular aspect of it. I never did. The only thing that I disagree with is the tone or the energy that people come at at her with, because like I said in the last video where I was talking about, the quarrels and misunderstandings happening between people, Buck and Blair and Marcus, all the true trans, I'll say with quotations, because I don't believe in trans as an actual thing that exists. It's just a facade to me. It's a band-aid pretty much that was invented by the medical establishment to help people that are struggling with being uncomfortable in their own skin to come to terms with their feelings in a way that makes them run away from themselves, essentially, and is not, in my opinion, healthy or good at all for them. Um, but I understand that there's people like Buck and Blair and Marcus that think within the deepest parts of themselves that that is something that has truly helped them. And I know that they think that because of the fact that these experiments, these procedures that they've gone through, have changed their outside appearance so much so that they feel that they can walk around representing the opposite gender than what they were born as, even though they're not. When you go within their DNA and you look down there and see what's actually going on, you will see that their reproductive organs are not in line with what they want to be or claim to be. And that's that's something that they've accepted, as far as them three, anyways, Blair, Marcus, and Buck, they know that they're not the opposite gender. They know that they're not ever going to be the opposite gender, no matter how many surgeries or how much hormone drugs or whatever they take. They're never, ever, ever going to be the opposite gender, and they understand that. And that right there, and the fact that they say that to their viewers and they admit that to themselves is enough for me to draw a line, essentially, for me to back off of them as far as being aggressive or attacking their philosophies or whatever their perspective is on transgenderism. um and that's just because of the fact that they are out there voicing their opinions on the insanity that's going on. And I understand that the main reason why they're voicing their opinions is not necessarily because of the the corruption or the ill begotten ways that these doctors and medical establishments come forward with their cures for transgenderism. Because in their minds they still think that it's something that helped them or saved them. They're mostly coming at it from the point of the whole non-binary and the idea of you can be whatever you want type of umbrella under the spectrum transgenderism thing. That's the main mission that they have, is to clear that up, the whole binary. They want to bring back the binary so that you know they can feel accomplished, I guess, in their procedures and their treatments that they've done. um and that's not something that I agree with. I mean, I agree with the fact that they, should speak out about that necessarily, but the way they're coming at it with, oh, that being transgenderism is, a binary thing, and as long as you fit that whole stereotype of what it is to be the opposite gender, then you are actually transgender. I don't necessarily believe that or agree with that, but just the fact that they're bringing all of this to light to people is what makes me want to continue to support them in their mission, because that is still it brings eyes to it. It brings attention to this whole insanity. And at the end of the day, that's my concern, is bringing attention to it, because it is insane and it needs attention so that we can stop allowing these companies and these medical establishments all around the world to cater to these delusional people. Um, and I understand that not everybody wants to be, friends with them or wants to back them in that mission because they think that it's wrong, in general. I understand that, and I agree with you. I agree with you in that aspect. I really do. But I don't think that fighting with each other is going to help the process at all. If anything, it's going to give the other side the opportunity to come back, because of all this fighting going on. And it's like, you know nobody's perfect, man. Like, nobody's fucking perfect. Buck is not perfect, obviously. Like, this person is mentally ill in her head. She has been for a while. If you know all of the stuff that's happened in her life and all of the stories of what she's done, it's pretty fucked up. And to just dismiss that as, you know irrelevant, or just dismiss it for whatever reason, just because you're not liking that person and what they're saying and doing, um is just not, it's not helpful to me, especially because Buck has been trying to change her ways, essentially. And I know she's not 100% and in going that way. And a lot of people say, it's just, oh, she wants to make money, she wants to, grift and sell her products and whatnot. And you know what, that might be true. That might be true. It's probably true. Everybody has to make a living and survive in this world somehow. There's no way around that. Like, you have to make money in order to survive. And I'm not gonna hold it against somebody for choosing a path that's not exactly morally correct, in my opinion, in my mind, if it's not really hurting anybody in particular. um and I know that people would argue that she's hurting children, or she's hurt children in the past, and that's probably true. She did, or it's not probably true, it is true, because I know that she did help. I don't know the whole story behind it, but she did help somebody changing, a child changing into the opposite gender, or going through the transition process or whatever with hormones and whatnot. And I don't know everything that happened with that, honestly, because um I haven't looked in. I was trying to look it up, but I couldn't find like the information of everything that happened. I just saw like a video of Isaac Uncooked where he mentioned it briefly, but I didn't really see any of the details or where it happened or what. And but I know that Buck has explained, that it's a regret of hers that she did that. And it seems somehow insincere to people because of the fact that she's not basically groveling for forgiveness. Um, but in my eyes, someone like Buck, they're very closed off to their own trauma, dude. Like, they're very, she hasn't even, she actually admitted in the chat, or the podcast that she did with Brittany, a slightly twisted female, that she doesn't know, why she felt like a man, or where those feelings come from. She still doesn't know. Like, has admitted to that. So obviously there's a lot of repressed memories in there, or a lot of repressed trauma. And in my opinion, like, if you really want to make things happen, things change, you have to have sympathy for people like that. You have to, like, I know it's hard, especially if they're in that mindset that, like, oh, it's not my fault that this person did that or that, even though she influenced people, she's not wanting to take responsibility for any of it. it's easy to to get upset about all of that and blame her. But I come at it with the mind frame that she's not even admitting her own like trauma of what happened to her and what's going on in her psyche and her mind. Like she has already an established persona where she just she there's traumatic things that happen and she just blocks it out. And this is another traumatic thing that she did, not to herself but to somebody else. But I'm sure deep inside of her it hurts that she did that to somebody. But instead of acknowledging it and analyzing, she's just blocking it out as I'm that's their thing. It was their issue. They went along with it, whatever. And that's not right. And I would never, ever, ever tell her that I agree with that or that's okay. In fact, I would tell her if I were ever to talk to her that she should analyze that and she should, try and come to terms with that. And I wish Brittany would have, addressed that and said those things to her directly instead of making a separate podcast to talk about it separately with her viewers. I really wish she would have, confronted her directly on camera like that. Um, Maybe Buck would have or Susan would have answered differently. Maybe she would have actually come at her with a reasonable response, and maybe she would have gotten her to open her mind and revisit all that trauma and go to the point where she was actually admit that she is a woman and she'll go back to that. Who knows what could have happened. And that's my whole problem with all of this is that everyone that's like Exolanzic and Isaac now are having a tiff. I didn't even realize until recently. There's something, it's because of the war thing going on that they're arguing, apparently, something else. But everybody's full of trauma, dude. Everybody has, I'm full of trauma. I was arguing with that Holly dude, or not him, but his followers on Twitter for or X whatever forever, arguing about being transgender and I the identity our identity as women being hijacked and all that stuff. I was arguing and being really petty, to them and I yeah, I ended up getting blocked eventually. They finally blocked me from it, but I'm not, perfect in that sense either. Everybody has their trauma where they can't communicate properly with people. You get to a certain, you know, uh conversation with somebody about something that you don't see eye to eye with, and it opens up parts of you that makes you want to confront them in a way that's not gonna resolve anything. Essentially, it's just going to manifest that inner trauma out to them, and you just end up bickering, and and it's really sad because they're all very intelligent people. Everybody, all of them, Exelanze, Karen, Isaac, Brittany, all of them are very, very intelligent individuals, and they all have a certain perspective on all of this that makes sense and that makes me want to join their conversation in this whole thing. And I know it makes others want to join the conversation, and it obviously, like, they have a lot of followers, and it's very disheartening to see them just turn on each other like that. And it just makes me feel like really depressed, to be honest. Like, just really, really depressed because again, like I said in the last video, I just had this image, this idea that everybody would come together, and we'd all the influencers would come and go to Congress together, speak out, and all their followers would tune in, and it would be this really powerful moment where everybody's just on the same page. It's not about political side. It's not about, any kind of agenda other than just bringing sanity back into the world. And how the fuck can we bring sanity back into the world when people are acting insane with each other and just being, you know, really petty and really childish? And, you know, it just breaks my heart. Like, it really does. And, I just wish we could find some common ground where we could come to an agreement on things and be able to unite in this fight, because regardless of whether or not you like somebody, or you want to back them in anything, uniting is a powerful method, and it would actually bring some results if people were to unite together. And now all I see is people in the comments fighting and backing, whoever they feel, is their champion influencer. And it's so stupid. It's fucking stupid. And I just, I don't like it. I just really don't like it.